moving ahead to the panel discussion session, an exclusive session on the disruption in insurance industry shift from reactive to preventive model. And to share their valuable insights, I would like to call on stage the experts in the order of sequence. Mr. Ganesha Murthy, COO from MediAssist Insurance TPA Private Limited. Can I have a big round of applause for Mr. Ganesha Murthy? Joining Mr. Ganesha Murthy, I would like to invite Mr. Vivek Kumar, CISO and DGM IT from Oriental Insurance Company. Can I have a big round of applause for Mr. Kumar as well? Once again, welcoming you to the stage, sir. Our next panel member would be Mr. Prasad Gupte, CISO from DHFL General Insurance. Can I have a round of applause for Mr. Gupte? And I would like to invite Mr. KB Vijay Srinivas, a director from MD India Health Insurance TPA Private Limited. Can I have a round of applause for Mr. Vijay Srinivas? Welcome to the stage, sir. And our honorable panel moderator and the chairperson of the session, Mr. Iswaran Natarajan, Chief Operating Officer from Kotak Mahindra General Insurance. Can I have a big round of applause for Mr. Iswaran Natarajan? Sir, all over to you as you're the panel moderator and the captain of the ship. Please take it ahead, sir.
So, we'll talk about the disruption which has happened in health insurance in the last few years. About 30 years back, it was called Mediclaim, where focus was on making a claim, and it was a product. So over a period of time, this product was moving towards solutions. Like all the industries have moved from product to solutions. Health insurance also slowly started moving into solutions. So when it started moving into solutions, it was called health insurance industry. Then, health checkup got added. Now wearables have come. A lot of things have come. So the first step, in my opinion, first change which happened was it moved from a product to a solutions. The second, fundamental change which happened over the last few years was the claims, which was sort of sending the check to the customer for the product he has bought, became a customer experience topic. So when somebody is in the hospital, how can you make him feel good? How can you create a customer experience? There are insurance companies who are ensuring that cashless is approval is done within 1 hour and things like that. So claims is slowly moving towards a customer experience thing. So these two are fundamental changes. So let's talk about this topic on this, then we'll move on to other topics. So Ganesh, what's your view on evolution of health industry?
Yeah, it's on. So the movement definitely is from a product to a customer experience, right? And the experience piece, there are two aspects of it. One is the ease of access, and the second one is the speed. For whatever reason, the whole e-commerce world has made people used to speed, and for no reason they need speed, right? Speed without any rational speed is one key driver that customer experiences, and the second is the ease. Today, everybody is talking about omni-channel, the multiple channel. They want access to the claim, to be able to make a claim either on a mobile or on a call or on your traditional post. But everywhere they want to be able to access a claim and get the service done. The third dimension of experience that's we are seeing is the customer doesn't want a hassle in the hospital itself. If it's a network, I go to a network, everything is taken care of and I am not disturbed. So that's a mile that's not crossed yet, is where a lot of our efforts are on in figuring out solutions which can ease the pain that happens at the hospital itself. So that's where I think it's heading.
I look at, as I said, it was a product called Mediclaim. We have moved to a solution. from the insurer point of view, when it was Mediclaim, our claim ratio was 70%, and now when it has become a solution, it has become 140%. So it's a matter of concern for the insurers, especially the ones who are dealing with the general insurance. Although the health insurers, they are able to do it quite efficiently. This movement, although as per the IRDA guidelines, this introduction of TPA was there in 99-2000, and since then it has grown a lot. Health insurance market has grown leaps and bounds. After that, 5 years, 6 years back, we got that, I'll go a bit back also, around 2006, this RSBY scheme was introduced, which was a health insurance for general public, and it was not a great success. A lot of frauds happened in that, and now 6 years back, 5 years back, this Ayushman Bharat, 4 years back, it was introduced. It was there in some form in Gujarat, but I saw their portal. It was a seamless portal. It was happening there. But Gujarat is a different state because there people are much aware. If you talk of health insurance in Bihar, then it is a very profitable business as an insurer. But Gujarat, it's a loss-making business. Only because of the reason that in Bihar, there are no medical facilities available. In a city like Patna, hardly one hospital was there 3 years back, I am talking. And Gujarat, every town is having a good medical facilities. And forgive me if some Gujarati people are there. Guju bhais are very keen on taking back whatever they have paid. That is the business community. So that has made, geography also plays a role in this. Whereas technology is concerned, in Ayushman Bharat, when it is meant for 10 crore families, 50 crore, almost 50 crore people are covered under that. Then last 4 years, the experience is more than 20% there are frauds. And NHA has recently deployed a solution for fraud analytics, and they have delisted a lot of hospitals, a lot of things they are doing. So same thing, insurers are also adopting those fraud things so that we can prevent that money and give the service to other genuine people. So that is one aspect of the health insurance sector. And secondly, this data, I think we can touch upon data afterwards.
Technologies, overall it is impacting insurance industry. So health insurance is not an exception. Now, as far as technology is concerned, disruption in terms of using a lot of artificial intelligence and machine learning to create profiles of prospective customers. So, for example, earlier there was a typical or conventional way of doing pre-policy medical checkup. Now that is available through network of various service providers who are kind of startups, and they provide telephonic medical checkups, pre-policy, PPMC. So that is one kind of disruption is what I refer to. Apart from that, now from regulatory perspective, call recordings is what is mandatory, and retention of call recordings in terms of customer service. So that is where technology plays a role, and I would say that is also kind of disruption, although it is not very new. Recording requirement has been there since a few years now. So that is where the technology is playing part into this. Apart from that, like emerging technologies like wearables, so where you get data about the pulse rate and all those things, basis which companies can provide certain discounts if the person's health is good, and it can be monitored using some technology. But along with that also there is a responsibility on the insurer that they need to protect all this information, because health insurance or health information is even under existing IT Act, it is falling under something called SPDI rules. So sensitive and personal data and information. So that needs to be protected at most, because within privacy also we need to categorize what is most critical or most sensitive. So health information falls under that category. So more on this later. Yeah,
More on this later.
sure.
Good afternoon. Having seen over a period of almost close to 40 years, the evolution of health insurance from being a medical insurance to the emergence of what he was talking about, Mediclaim, to it being called health insurance. Initially, there was medical insurance, not a very big portfolio, very little in terms of volumes for the insurance industry. The real impetus came with the introduction of Mediclaim by GIC sometime in the mid-80s. Perhaps the name itself was wrong because it had in its name the word claim. So maybe people got confused saying that, this is one way by which you lodge a claim. Then it has gone on to health insurance, which again, I guess, is a kind of a misnomer. For the simple reason that when we talk about health insurance, we are not talking about health insurance. We are talking about ill health insurance. Nobody talks about how to, it's only now we are talking about wellness and so on and so forth. But basically, it is ill health that we are talking about. Certain things which have contributed to the development of health insurance, of course, a lot of marketing initiatives have come in, but certain external forces have come in which have contributed to growth of health insurance. It sort of coincided with the deterioration in government hospital standards. Earlier on, when somebody had a problem, they would go to a government hospital or would go to hospitals run by trusts or missions or whatever. Emergence of corporate hospitals perhaps brought in a sea change, because corporate hospitals also acted as a kind of a pusher for health insurance. I experienced it for the first time sometime in the early 90s as a branch manager in one of the offices in Delhi, where suddenly one person landed up in the office and he said, I'm marketing manager for so-and-so hospital. I said, where do you have this kind of a concept of a marketing manager for a hospital? He said, no, it's a private hospital, so we have to market. So we are marketing things. That is one aspect. They did market in a big way. Perhaps a lot of people who used to come for, many hospitals used to have schemes. They used to call it wellness schemes. They used to issue cards, which was essentially a Mediclaim policy attached to it. And then from that, what has happened is there has been a tremendous increase in cost. Medical cost has been shooting through the roof. So perhaps now there is a fear in people's mind that if they are not insured, they will be in serious problems. So these are things which have contributed to the development of medical insurance, other than insurance companies themselves going and marketing health insurance in a big way, to an extent that today it is almost one of the major portfolios for insurance industry. Government also has stepped in a big way with, first it was RSBY, then state insurance schemes, now Ayushman Bharat. So government also has been a major driver for health insurance. And further, for certain structural changes have come in, where specialization in terms of settlement of claims has come in. Earlier on, I remember we used to do it in offices manually. Volumes were less, so it could be handled. But now things are different. So you have specialized organizations. Some insurance companies do it in-house. They employ doctors for checking out on the veracity of the claims. And other than that, you have specialized organizations called third-party administrators, TPAs, whose job is to to process insurance claims, medical insurance claims. Technology has played a great role in it, whereby these things have been rendered possible. So a lot of things have happened, and two other things which have been a major part in this evolution process. One is portability of policies, which IRDA through its regulation has brought about, by which a person can move his policy from one company to another without any change, penalty or whatever. The second is something which has now under discussion by IRDA. A committee has been set up, and that is for checking out to discuss and find out whether life insurance companies should be allowed to enter the health insurance sector, do retail health, something which they have not been doing. Life insurance generally are long-term policies, they deal with long-term policies, but now they are wondering whether they can be allowed to do retail insurance also. So this is another thing which is happening on the structural front. This evolution will go on. Further things will come in. And one major thing which has been a driver, which has changed the face of health insurance, is cashless. Cashless settlement. Experiments had been tried out in 90s also, but at that time technology did not permit it. But otherwise GIC had introduced a system of cashless settlement by entering into an agreement with some of the hospitals. But now technology has made it possible to immediately give authorizations, pre-authorizations and other things. So technology-driven cashless settlement of claims is another major movement in the evolution of health insurance industry.
Good, thank you. So Ganesh, what are your views on privacy issues on health insurance data? So customers give a lot of, medical records and all this to TPAs, insurance companies. How safe it is? What are the threats? What are the risks?
Privacy, data security is, if you talk about TPAs, right, we come under the almost like a payment processing company. So we have to adhere to certain standards. Plus, the number of clients that we work with, most of them being multinational companies, which have their own stringent requirements on data privacy. Some of them are even covered under GDPR. So practically, it is safe. Of course, nothing is 100% safe, but there are enough safeguards that at every stage, all the participants in the chain ecosystem put in place, because of which it is safe. But can it be broken? Can there be leakages? Nobody can give 100% assurance. But yes, there are enough safeguards that is built in, and it also gets checked. We go through almost every week a couple of audits by either a client or a partner or somebody else. So it's very rigorous testing, and the testing continues. But of course, there is this offside chance. So I think it is safe.
I will see it from the national angle. I was sitting in a meeting about 4 months back, wherein Ministry of Home Affairs, IRDA, and almost all insurance companies representative were there. It was held at Mumbai itself. The issue was Ministry of Home Affairs has set up a entity called National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center. So they wanted to know, they had covered a lot of organizations and they had covered banks also under that. They wanted to decide whether they should cover insurance sector as such or not. And they were discussing on 3 points. One was national security, another was national economy, and third was public health. This is how insurance companies can affect these three. So most of us, we were of the view that हम लोग के पास तो क्या है, मेडिक्लेम का डेटा है, इट डजेंट मैटर whether we keep it, we, as Ganesh said, we are keeping it securely, so it doesn't
impact national security.
any impact on this thing. I said there can be an impact on the national security. So people were quite amazed. He said, how can it be? I said, recently you might have seen in the news that Singapore Premier, his health data was compromised and it became a national security issue for Singapore. So if Narendra Modi or Amit Shah or any of the top politician data it is also lying in one of the servers. So if it is compromised nationally, we have a national level security concern. Second is public health. When almost complete, when Ayushman Bharat is there, so low level people are also there and upper segment is already covered under the Mediclaim schemes of health insurance. So public health data is also in our servers, and which is a very critical information from national public health perspective. So if you look that from that angle, we are holding a very critical information in our servers. Just before we had discussed about the security aspects, whatever security we have, it can be breached. We have ethical hackers, but there are unethical hackers who are breaching into the systems day and day out in our systems. Almost every organization is getting some ransomware attack, some phishing attack, some spam mail. So we are quite vigilant, but we cannot say that we are 100% sure. So this, and then another angle is this data protection bill, which is going to be an act shortly. So in foreign countries, already that bill is there, that act is there, and they are storing their information, and most of the information is stored in India. Now when doctor prescribes something, he takes the history of the patient, that is transcribed here, and people, some BPOs, and they are storing that data. But in India, some doctors were keeping those records, some were not keeping that records. Mostly homeopathic practitioners, they were keeping, because they required for their diagnosis. But allopathic doctors, hardly anyone. But with the professional institutions coming like Ascots or Max or this thing, they are keeping the complete record of the complete what diagnostics have been done about this patient and what disease they have, what potential disease can be there. So they keep mailing you ki you are prone to this, you can come and you get it diagnosed. So that way there is a threat to the personal health data also, and we cannot say for sure that it is secure. So we have to be vigilant, we have to be aware about it.
So what's your...
So from personal privacy perspective, as per the privacy principles, first of all, insurance industry will have to change the way they are collecting information from the customers, or I would say prospects. So there is something called consent. So they need to first take the consent whether the person is really interested to buy the policy, health policy. And then they have to disclose the purpose in no uncertain ways. They have to clearly state the purpose of that data collection. There is something called collection minimization. So they need to collect only the relevant information rather than asking for each and everything, asking for PAN card and things like that. So collect only relevant data. And then use limitation, use that collected data only for stated purpose. And there are certain rights which data subject or the end customer has. So if the customer asks that once the policy term is over and he wants to discontinue with the existing insurer, and if he asks for data eraser or right to erase, then it becomes responsibility of the insurer that they need to remove all the copies of customers' information. Another concern would be like pre-policy medical checkups. When it goes through the conventional way of health checkups, generally companies have tie-ups with various health service providers. So generally they collect data in hard copies. sometimes they scan and send soft copies, but then hard copies are also couriered. So whether the courier service is trusted and whether the right contracts are in place to ensure that data, hard copies are protected while in transit. And what is the assurance that the medical or health diagnostic center would provide that whatever data they have converted from hard copies into scanned copies, soft copies, are 100% removed from their systems. So these are the concerns from privacy perspective, because health information is really very critical, and there is very less awareness about it. So this data, if you can foresee, might be misused by pharmaceutical companies. As sir has already mentioned about government scheme for health insurance, and most of the Indians' health data is available on those servers. So it might happen that some external pharmaceutical company interested in growing their business hire some unethical person, and with their help hack into Indian health data or Indian public's health data, which might be there in government servers or private insurers' machines. And then accordingly they can do some research on some drugs and all and try to sell it in India, so thereby making profit. So that is why data is new oil, is why it is called as new oil, because it can be misused, and in India there is very low level of awareness among people. So while in cybersecurity discussion I mentioned about A, B, C, awareness, behavior and culture. So first of all, India as a country, we don't have any security culture right from the beginning. And that is why we cannot envisage these kind of risks. So there is a problem.
Data. Mukesh Ambani, when he was launching his venture, Jio, he made a statement that data is going to be the oil of the future, and as important as that, as oil was in the earlier decades. See, data, we have, a lot of organizations have, access to data and are repositories to a lot of data. If you look at it logically, data is there with, for medical this thing, with the individual concern. It is there with, say, hospitals or the medical practitioners. As Vivek was saying, homeopathic doctors had a lot of things recorded, and now the hospitals have started recording in a big way. Government has data, and through all these schemes, individual data is now lodged in various servers across the country. And insurance companies, third-party administrators, all of them have data residing in their servers. Now, how critical is it? Let me just give a small instance. Many of you may not be aware or may not have heard of it. The history of our country would have been totally different if one doctor had revealed that Muhammad Ali Jinnah was not going to live for more than 1 year. He was suffering from acute tuberculosis, could have died any time. But because of privacy and confidentiality ethics which prevail between that relationship which prevails between a doctor and a patient, that was not revealed. Just imagine if people had known that this chap was going to live for less than a year, perhaps this partition would not have happened. You would not have had two countries. That is the criticality of personal information. Hitler, when he died, his body was identified by not by anyone else, but by his dentist using X-rays which he had used for putting various kinds of things in his jawline. So criticality of data. And it's essential that this data remains safe. It is not parted with. And as Prasad was mentioning, various pharmaceutical companies and all could misuse a lot of data. There is data security is of paramount importance, and we should treat data with a lot of respect, a lot of confidentiality, and see to it that it doesn't disperse. And doesn't go to wrong people, wrong hands, whether it is individual or whether it is of a group as a whole. And laws are yet to be strongly framed in India. Abroad, it is already there. Many countries have very strong laws on data protection and data security. But here, we still have to catch up with those laws. Hopefully, in the future, things will come which will make data protection and privacy a matter of, a matter of responsibility for those who hold that data. In fact, even the Supreme Court, the entire controversy about Aadhaar is on account of data and data misuse. So I think it's very important that we work out norms to govern ourselves being part of this industry, and to see how information which is there about individuals is not given out.
So one question before we go to the next Q&A session. Have you come across any innovative technologies in health insurance which has really changed the rules of the game in the last few years? Or the role of technology in changing the face of health insurance?
Last few years, yeah. So the omni-channel thing is one that has come, right? Mobile and people accessing things through mobile and being able to lodge a claim through mobile and stuff like that has happened. But if you look at it slightly ahead, right, especially on the data side, right, I see some technologies which is in an early stage can solve some of the problems, especially the data privacy. One problem of data privacy issue is having copies of data in multiple places. So blockchain is one solution where you don't need to actually expose multiple copies of data, but people can just access data or not. So there's one solution that I see coming quickly, and it can also kill a lot of the inefficiencies that's there in the current system of people having to transmit data and receive data, and the losses there in that. The other one which I see as a big one, especially on the claims processing side from the experience point of view, is a good 50% of the active time on claim processing is on digitizing the data, which is right now done manually. Work happening around digitizing automatically using a lot of intelligent AI systems coupled with an OCR system, which can cut this time by almost half. Then of course there is the AI platform which some of the insurers are using already to give very early and quick approval for claims. But the key to that working is the data pipeline that comes in, which is the digitization part. So I think these are 2-3 which is already in progress, which can change the face of the industry. And then of course the final adjudication itself happening online is another possibility.
You have anything to add, sir?
This health insurance or Mediclaim, we are still carrying dependent upon the card issued by the TPS, which is a very primitive method of identifying a person. Long back we should have gone for a biometric thing. I put my finger or through my retina, I should be recognized I am Vivek Kumar, and then only that authorization should take place. But I think none of in the industry, nobody is doing it. I think that is the foremost thing, because most of the frauds are happening only on this account, that insured is somebody else and treatment is taken by somebody else, or treatment is not taken, somebody was present over there for taking the claims. So biometric is one thing which can cleanse the system, because every human being is having a unique identification. Number two, as you Ganesh mentioned, that blockchain can be of great help in facilitating the health insurance solution, giving as a service to the nation, service to the human being. But as in the previous panel in the morning, we discussed that we have to, in India, we have to yet to see the technology part of the blockchain concept. Everybody has been discussing for last few years, except for Bitcoin, blockchain. In India also some people played with Bitcoin, but in India other blockchain implementations are yet to be seen. I've been discussing with various vendors, but nobody has come forward. Jio, they are saying they are going to come out with in another 1 year's time with a blockchain platform as a cloud service. So probably if they are putting a lot of investment in that, so probably we may be getting that technology to which we can leverage for health insurance. Thirdly, this data, lot of because I am an insurance company, lot of TPAs, they complain to me they are not getting the policy data regularly. In this format they are not getting, in that format they are not getting. As a CISO, I was wondering why should we share the complete data? What we are doing, we are giving the PDF of the policy file or the Excel file or XML file we are giving. But why should a company, an insurance company, share with the 100% of data? Only those fields which are relevant for processing the claim should be shared. So as Vijay said, that sensitization of data, that it pertains to an individual which has to be protective. We have to protect the data. So the technology part should be like, it should be only through web services. There should not be any manual intervention. As you said, a lot of manual work is going on, 50% time goes in entering the data. So we should make use of RPA or some other technology so that data goes immediately into the system, and then in a encrypted form it is shared. And only the authorized person should be able to see that, and nobody else should be able to see that.
So as far as technology innovation is concerned, IRDA has something called sandboxing. So they have come up with sandboxing concept, which was originated in UK a few years back. So in sandboxing, they basically promote various insurers to come up with innovative technology solutions, and those will be tested in a protected sandbox environment, of course with live customers with their consent. And if the concept is proven to be successful and secured enough, then the regulator would give support, and it will become kind of industry norm later on. So that is how regulator is also promoting technology innovation, at least in insurance industry. And companies are being helped and supported by a regulator to use emerging technologies more and more. And as most of our panelists mentioned about the importance of data and security, of course regulators are also very much concerned about it. But there are certain technologies like robotic process automation or other technologies. Those are still under phase 1 or still in a phase of kind of still under research, we can say. So there might be certain risks attached to those new technologies which are not yet known. So those are unknowns kind of. So it will be interesting to see what new kind of risks these emerging technologies will present in near future. And of course industry will also evolve, but definitely there will be some incidents while we are using emerging technologies. At least the early adopters will definitely have certain challenges, is what I see in near future.
Perhaps this is one line, health insurance is one line where technology has been adopted to the maximum in the entire insurance industry. For the simple reason that from manual processing, it has gone on to total online processing of claims. And not only that, Vivek was making a point about cards. And yes, it's very true, we should have cards. In a way, it has started because RSBY did have the chip embedded in the cards, but it came with a expense. So perhaps for other individuals, the expenditure part, deterred the companies from going in for a total chip-based identification card. Maybe we should also think whether it can be linked to Aadhaar, though there are a lot of other implications. But yes, that is very important that we have this information, and it should be all linked to not a ordinary card, but an electronic thing where the thing should be by way of a facial recognition or by way of a thumbprint. Incidentally, thumbprint is not of in today's context with coronavirus, thumbprint and that is not well this thing. But yes, facial reader and thumb impression is very important for that. And more important is what Vivek was saying is a need to know. Giving of all information to everybody, there is no need for that. The only relevant information should be shared with people who need to do the work. There is no need that all kinds of information should be dispersed to everybody. And future perhaps holds greater use of technology in this field. For instance, I was watching this Sundar Pichai talking about Google developing, using the eyeball and scanning of the eyeball to determine what kind of ailments there are in the persons, in the individual. So they are working on that kind of a thing. If that comes, then perhaps a whole lot of changes will happen in this field by using technology. So technology is one which has, in this field, especially medical insurance or health insurance, whatever nomenclature you give, has made best use of technology so far. And I think more innovative things will happen in this field as times go by.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. So we leave it to the floor now. If you have any questions, please ask. Thank you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have a big round of applause for this wonderful panel discussion? And now I would like to call on stage Ms. Hema Lakshmi Narayanan, Head of BFSI Delivery from Explio Solutions, to kindly do the honor of felicitation. Can I have a big round of applause for Ms. Hema? Welcome to the stage, ma'am. Can I have a big round of applause for Mr. Vijay Kumar? A huge round of applause for Mr. Prasad Gupte. A huge round of applause for our chairperson and panel moderator, Mr. Ishwara Natarajan. Can I have a round of applause for him, please? A huge round of applause for Mr. Vijay Kumar. Vivek Kumar, so sorry. And a huge round of applause for Mr. Ganesh Murthy. I request all of you, ma'am, if you can join them for a group photograph. Thank you all, and thank you, ma'am, for coming on the stage.